appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Thanks for joining us this hour on CoreTV News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. News just in says South African Paralympian Oscar Pistorius has been sentenced to 5 years jail term for the Lover's Day Eve killing of his girlfriend River Steenkamp. Presiding Judge Thukwuzile Masipa also handed Pistorius a 3-year suspended sentence for the firearms charge. Meanwhile, the Steenkamp family say they were happy with their sentence and relieved the case is eventually over, though the defense says it expects Pistorius to serve about 10 months in prison. We'll keep you up to date with details later on. The World Health Organization has officially declared that Nigeria is free of the Ebola virus disease. This, according to WHO official, is because the country has not had any outbreak in the last 42 days, which is 2 cycles of 21-day incubation period for the virus. WHO country representative Rugama Vaz described the feat as a spectacular success story at a news conference in Abuja. In spite of the certification of Nigeria as Ebola-free, the World Health Organization, the Lagos State government has vowed not to disband existing structure that led to the successful containment of the deadly disease. The State Commissioner for Health, Jide Idris, says the facility will be maintained to fight a reoccurrence of the virus. Abiola Oluwole's report is presented from our studios.
The prompt joint response of the federal and Lagos State government was instrumental to the containment of the deadly Ebola virus disease imported into the country by late Liberian diplomat Patrick Sawyer. WHO statistics reveal there were over 9,000 Ebola cases, resulting in over 4,000 deaths so far. Nigeria contributed 20 cases and 8 fatalities. The State Commissioner for Health, Jide Idris, says Lagos is ready to send volunteers to Sierra Leone to assist. Highlighting the steps taken by Lagos in the containment of the virus, Idris says existing structures like the emergency centers and the cremation law assisted in arresting the spread of the disease. He stressed that the Lagos State government will maintain and upgrade facilities used in the fight against the disease, as well as develop local capacity to curb future occurrence.
As it is now, we will not disband the structure that we put in place. We do not intend to, and we will not, but rather hone on their effectiveness and efficiency. And some of the key factors that helped us, again, in what we did was the political will and support at the highest level of governance, including the governor of this state, again, who played a very active role. Members of the State Executive Council, some of us are here, and others, again, who played their own roles on ground. And again, the activity support by the federal government and all the other external agencies who helped us, WHO, CDC, MSF, UNICEF, etc. There were many. It was a collaborative effort.
He also announced a gesture of 50 million naira to First Consultants Medical Center, urging the government will assist the survivors of the disease.
President Goodluck Jonathan has also hailed health workers, volunteers and ordinary Nigerians for the role they played in containing the Ebola virus in the country. Also commended the unity of purpose demonstrated by the governments of Rivers and Lagos states, as well as officials of the federal government. Jonathan spoke through his spokesman, Ruben Abati, at the presidential villa shortly after the World Health Organization declared Nigeria free
President Goodluck
of
Jonathan
disease.
welcomes today's declaration by the World Health Organization that Nigeria is now officially Ebola-free after 42 days without any incidents of the Ebola virus disease. President Jonathan dedicates the certification to the many patriotic health workers, volunteers, and ordinary Nigerians who work tirelessly, some of them paying the ultimate price in the process, to stop the deadly virus in its tracks after it entered the country in July this year. He believes that Nigeria's globally acclaimed success against Ebola is a testimony to what Nigerians can achieve if they set aside their differences and work together, and he calls on Nigerians to strive to replicate the unity of purpose and the all-hands-on-deck approach adopted against Ebola in other areas of national life. As the nation applauds the success of its collective effort to stop the transmission of the Ebola virus within Nigeria, however, President Jonathan warns that the entire country must remain fully alert and vigilant against the re-entry of the virus.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says the successful eradication of Ebola virus disease would change the negative perception of the country by the outside world. He also said in a press statement issued by his media office in Abuja that the Nigerian government, as well as Lagos and River States governments, should be commended for their achievement. The former vice president added that the declaration of Nigeria as Ebola-free zone was a clear demonstration of the outcome of collaboration, hard work and commitment of the federal government, Lagos and River State governments. The APC presidential aspirant also extolled the virtues of medical personnel during the battle to control the spread of Ebola, adding that he was touched by the sacrifices of medical personnel who sacrificed their own lives to save others. We'll take a break now and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Glad to have you join us on another edition of The Political Arena, the most detailed and incisive political show.
If you are a sitting governor and the opposition is able to stomach structure against you, that means you are wicked to the people.
Until the end of our term, I'm the legitimate authority to govern this country.
They gave me 20 minutes to move or they will shoot me.
He has no chance for survival. If he likes himself, this is the best time to get out before he perishes.
The PDP as a ruling party has failed.
To anybody who thinks that government will fold his hands and allow miscreants to take over the streets of Osun State and cause havoc is deceiving himself.
The good, bad, ugly and beautiful sides of the Nigerian political system. Join me every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. For more on the news, you can reach us on our social media platform. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. And our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. You can watch our programs and news on YouTube now. It's youtube.com/CoreTV, the space and news. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, has not defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress, his special advisor Imam said in a statement. He, however, confirmed that the Speaker attended a political meeting with Sokoto State Governor Aliyu Wamako on Monday, adding that Tambuwal's consultation on his political future continues. The meeting, according to Imam, had in attendance prominent Sokoto citizens, many of whom have no known political affiliation. The most notable being the Sardauna of Sokoto and former Minister of Finance, Alhaji Abubakar. The statement came on the heels of widespread reports in the social media that the Speaker had dumped the ruling party for the APC. President Goodluck Jonathan met with state governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party in Abuja. The meeting, held at the First Lady's conference room, was held behind closed doors and ended early on Monday morning. Journalists were barred from the venue of the meeting on the ground that it was a private session, but governors who were present disclosed that preparations for the 2015 election topped the agenda.
Very fruitful meeting. We discussed about our party, the primaries that will soon come. How to fortify our party and do very well and avoid rancor and in-house fighting. Succession plan, the thing is that we have, I told you, we discussed primaries. And normally, candidates will have to emerge through credible primaries. That was what was discussed. We didn't discuss about endorsement.
We had a session with Mr. President to brainstorm. You know, we are in the season of electioneering now. Party primaries are soon coming up. So we just came to exchange ideas, strategize on the way forward.
The prospects of the PDP is equally very, very bright. Yes, there's an opposition quite in place, but the party is working very hard to make sure that very, very closely and appropriate steps will be taken. And with active support of the electorate, we believe we'll do very, very well come 2015. Excellent.
A pro-government, pro-Jonathan support group under the aegis of FCT Indigents and Geopolitical Leaders Forum has joined in the call on President Goodluck Jonathan to contest in the 2015 presidential election. Speaking during a courtesy visit on elder statesman Edwin Clark in Abuja, leader of the delegation Ayubang Bako stated that FCT Indigents have passed a vote of confidence on the Jonathan administration and will be conducting a rally to this effect. In his response, Clark commended the group for their support while describing Jonathan as the right man for the job.
Our mission is to mobilize the people of FCT to vote for His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Jonathan before the primaries and after the primaries, including all other contestants under People's Democratic Party, to showcase the dividends and the giant strides of the transformation agenda of the President to the FCT indigents and other Nigerians who cast their vote in Abuja.
This is the first time the indigents and the various personalities or groups or geographical areas that the people of Nigeria living in our capital city have come to express their loyalty, express their willingness to support Mr. President.
Meanwhile, President Goodluck Jonathan on Monday held a closed-door meeting with former Borno State Governor Ali Modu Sharif. The meeting was held inside the presidential villa few days after reports of gun battle between troops and insurgents in some parts of the northeast in spite of a ceasefire agreement. The former governor, who is now a member of the ruling People's Democratic Party, brushed off attempts by journalists to have him speak on his interaction with the president. Sharif insisted that he had no comments as he moved to the office of the Chief of Staff to the President, Jones Arubufa, where he joined former Lagos State Military Governor Buba Marwa, who had also held a meeting with Jonathan. Reactions, however, continues to trail the recent ceasefire deal between Nigeria and Boko Haram. A security expert, Ona Ekomo, has advised the federal government not to swallow hook, line and sinker the deal reached with the dreaded militant group. Ekomo, who spoke to CoreTV News in Lagos, warns that the ceasefire deal does not translate to end of war, adding that the federal government should be vigilant.
It is quite premature of the federal government to stop fighting because it is not clear that these guys are on. They are on yet. Well, I guess perhaps in keeping with the ceasefire agreement, they have ceased firing. But once that ceasefire was breached, the government soldiers should be back in operation. The federal government has been a sincere broker, peace broker in this matter. The problem had always been Boko Haram, and that is why we are worried that even with this ceasefire deal, the latest ceasefire deal that has been announced, that is only the federal government side that's announcing it, that BH is not on board announcing the deal. And like I keep saying, unless and until I see Abu Shekau come out and say that, yes, stop fighting, nothing is going to happen.
Against the backdrop of the recent ceasefire deal between Nigeria and Boko Haram, one of the nation's security agencies, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, has emphasized the import of peaceful coexistence, especially in a multi-ethnic society like Nigeria. The NSCDC, at a human capacity development training in conjunction with a non-governmental organization, Impactful Change and Development, stressed the all-important role of peace at this time in the nation's development. Oluwaseyi Adegoke's report is presented from our studios.
The event, tagged Peace and Conflict Resolution, emphasized the reality of peaceful coexistence among Nigerians and admonished them not to only talk the peace but also walk the peace. The Lagos Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Jonathan Sikemefuna, says peacekeeping is of utmost priority.
In Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, we have a very vibrant peace and conflict resolution unit. But going forward, we also felt that everybody who works for this organization should be in a position to mediate. Look at our name, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. We should be seen to mediate in matters that affect the general public. That is one of our core mandates. And we're here to make sure that it works out really very well.
The Executive Director of Impact for Change and Development, Naomi Akpanita, says peacekeeping is not a one-way traffic but a collective responsibility.
Peace and conflict resolution, how we achieve it is multifaceted. It depends on the issue. But one thing that is very key is having the right mindset. Know the perspective that helps you to see it as doable. When you're beginning to see a conflict as a do or die thing, as I must win or the other person must win, then we'll have a problem because it's going to end up in a do or die situation. But when you see that this is something that's a part of life and can be resolved and can be addressed in such a way that you go on happy and I go away happy too, then that's a new perspective to it. That helps us to mutually work towards ensuring that something good comes out of it.
The organizers urges Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to make a change and impart peace in the society.
The Governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose, has announced that a Public Service Review and Local Government Caretaker Committee will be set up. Speaking at the swearing-in of the Secretary to the State Government and the inauguration of the Special Advisors, Fayose says the committee will be put in place to address public service anomalies. The Caretaker Committee is aimed at making the government closer to the people within the shortest possible time. Rashid was there and filed in this report.
In what may have passed for his first official assignment as the governor of Ekiti State, Fayose swearing in Modupe Alade as the secretary to the state government and other special assistants, says his government will keep a sizable cabinet in order to keep government up and running.
I am going to compress this government to a sizable one. Not 30-something permanent secretaries, 30-something commissioners. I can't afford it. I'm going to compress this government and I'm going to do it with a human face. And I've directed the head of service and some of the permanent secretaries to work together and compress this government for me to what I can afford, manage successfully.
Advising the appointees, including the SSGs, to discharge their duties in the interest of Ekiti citizenry, Fayose promises to give women adequate representation in all tiers of governance in the state.
Once a permanent secretary, once a civil servant, to those people, don't behave to them like politicians. Try your best and strike the balance. Your appointment, which is the first appointment in this government, has demonstrated my love for women. Women will have right of place and they will get that 35% in government. They will not only get it in government, they will get it in House of Assembly.
Making reference to the recent sack of some local government caretaker officials and reversal of the appointment of permanent secretaries appointed by ex-governor Kayode Fayemi at the close of his administration, Fayose hints at the reform of the public service.
I'm going to set up committees very soon that will look into the public service. the local government and see how we can reposition everything and have the right people in the right places. That committee will be in place within the next 72 hours. Has supported us. They can't speak English. They can't do this, they can't do that. That's not my business. Automatically, I can't read, I can't write. Two of them must be in each local government.
The new appointees include the Chief Press Secretary, Idowu Adelusi, Special Assistant on Information, Larry Olayinka, the Special Assistant on Special Duties and Stomach Infrastructure, Sunday Anifowoshe, and 4 others. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
A federal high court in Lagos on Monday quashed the share purchase agreement which transferred ownership of Newswatch Communications Limited to a businessman, Jimoh Ibrahim. 2 minority shareholders, Nuhu Arua and Jibril Aminu, had filed a petition urging the court to nullify the agreement which transferred ownership of the company to Ibrahim. The applicants also sought an order restraining the respondents from publishing and selling to the public Newswatch Daily and weekend magazines. Respondents in the suit are Newswatch Communications Limited, Global Media Mirror Limited, Jimoh Ibrahim, Newswatch Newspapers, and the Corporate Affairs Commission. Delivering judgment in the suit, Justice Ibrahim Buba upheld all the prayers of the minority shareholders. The judge also awarded the sum of 15.7 million naira as damages against Ibrahim and gave an order stopping further publications of Newswatch Daily. Buba held that the respondents could not prove that they paid up for the shares, as the petitioners gave evidence to show that the second to the third respondents totally failed to pay for the shares of the company. President Goodluck Jonathan has launched the National Schools Agriculture Program in continuation of efforts to modernize the sector. The program is, amongst others, aimed at rebuilding technical and entrepreneurship skills in students to enable them run agriculture as a business, as well as enable the youth develop a positive attitude towards agriculture. Speaking at the launch, the president expressed confidence that the project would help pave way for a new generation of modern farmers to replace the aging ones.
It's a vital part of our strategy to address youth unemployment, youth inclusion in economic diversification, food security and replacement of our aging farmer population. By promoting the participation of students in agriculture along the value chain, the National School Agri Program will instill a self-reliant entrepreneurship culture within our school children from an early age. I have already directed for this pilot phase. We're selecting 12 states. And of course, Dr. Sani wanted to start with all the secondary schools in the country. He had that drive, but I said no. Until this government is ending, we just have a few months to the end of this administration. If you go with a program, say you run across so many schools, they will tell you that you are making you are trying to launch a political program. Take few schools. In fact, I forced her to limit ourselves to 12 schools. Let the program be extremely successful. When it's extremely successful, you'll get the buy-in of the governors, you get the buy-in of the local government chairman, you get the buy-in of the population. And in that case, it will be easy for federal government to push it across.
Our youths have always seen agriculture as a poor man's sector. This is because all they have ever seen are poor farmers using hoes and cutlasses. Hoes and cutlasses are not technologies. They connote suffering and have no place in modern agriculture. That is why Mr. President has launched a very bold 50 billion naira private sector-led agricultural mechanization program to provide affordable mechanization services to farmers across the country. It's the first time it has ever been done in the history of this country. We need young people in agriculture. Today, the average age of our farmers is over 60 years. There is an aging farmer crisis, not just in Nigeria, but all across Africa. Unless we change this, within 20 years, there will be no farmers left to feed you and I in Nigeria. That is why Mr. President launched an innovative and bold program called Youth Employment in Agriculture Program, YIP. to develop a new cadre of young commercial farmers and agribusiness entrepreneurs that we call agropreneurs. There are going to be 750,000 of those being created over the next 5 years. They will be supported with mechanized services, technical and managerial skills, access to land, and since this has the strong support of the CME, I'm sure they will have a lot of finance to go with it to actually crown the great program she's doing, the UWIN program. That's a fantastic program.
Wraps it this hour on CoreTV News. Do join us again at the top of the hour for more stories. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.